We are recording. We are recording. Welcome to the Jungle Brothers podcast. Episode number, Joe?
16. JB Cast 16, we believe.
98% sure it's number 16.
16 and a half.
It's been a little while. We haven't actually been together in a position to record, right?
I'm Paul Photophilie. We have Joe Worthington and Tira Ward present, all three.
How you guys doing? Quick intro. Most of you know us, but we're down at 15 Underwood Avenue in Botany, Sydney. We got the coolest gym in Australia down here, potentially the coolest gym in the world. Online presence, YouTube channel, Instagram, all that stuff. Come at us if you want help with anything, but otherwise just enjoy the value herein. I think today we're talking pretty generally just about where we all been because we haven't hung out for a while, huh?
Correct.
Paul's been an invalid. That's been the big news since we... Well, you're not such an invalid now, but...
Yeah, I'm all right. I ruptured my Achilles. It was an incomplete rupture, but pretty much a full rupture. There was a little fibre hanging on, and that's where I've been. I was dealing with that, but yeah.
How long ago was it now?
I am in my 5th week post-op, so 6 weeks ago.
Fuck, that's kind of gone quick, eh?
Has gone, well, probably not so quick for you, Paul.
It's all right.
Quickish.
Yeah, I haven't been, too frustrated by the whole thing. There was little spells, for a day here and there. But yeah, it hasn't been too much of a grind. Like everyone's looked after me, and I have to thank, you guys for accommodating me here in the business and just making it all happen, and all the staff here and stuff just lifting their game while I was away. And then I got my wife and my mother-in-law and my family who've just been driving me around, cooking for me and all that. So I've been lucky. Yeah. So yeah, I'm on my way back, as you can see. I'm out of the boot. I drove into work today.
First time. Congrats.
I wasn't supposed to, but my physio rang me today, and I told her that I was driving the car, and she was like, "Oh, okay, I guess." Yeah, as long as it doesn't show any pain and you got the boot on. I was like, "Yeah, cool, beep beep."
Yeah. I'm on the fucking highway now. Doesn't matter.
No, it's cool. No, I've been looking after it. Pushing the range here and there, but respectfully, for sure.
Gave it a massage the other night, stretch class.
Oh yeah, it was awesome.
You gave it a massage too?
Yeah. Well, we walked on it.
And the rest of my freaking leg.
The whole leg.
So you like stepping on people's legs, eh?
Yeah,
it's his jam.
It was particularly sensitive.
It's good.
No one's touched me there for a long time. Where have you been, T? What have you been doing?
Yeah, we all had a holiday. I had a holiday. I went up to my mum's house, dug another swale on her property.
What's a swale?
Swale's when you cut a ditch out of a hill, a line to or contour to the hillside. So it has to be level to contour, I should say. You do that by getting 2 pieces of wood, nail them together in an A-frame, hang a piece of string down the middle of them, hang something heavy off the bottom of the string, like a plumb line, and then you just plonk it in the ground, put a little mark between the wood, turn it around, mark the other side, and then measure difference between those 2 marks, and then you have level to contour, and you just follow that A-frame around the hill and mark the hill, and then you fucking dig it out. It's very medieval.
Is it?
Yeah, it's kind of like what the Mayans and all those ancient cultures would have used to cut out the hillsides. You see the really flat, the rice paddies.
Terraces.
The terraces, yeah. It's one of those kind of tools.
You described that with almost Dr. Carl precision.
Did you like that?
I did. Yeah.
I was using my hand, so it probably didn't sound so descriptive.
I got video today, man.
Oh, yeah.
I got video. If you got any more hand gestures that are pertinent, do them gang sign. Go that way.
Yeah, so we dug another swale, and all that does is when the water goes down the hill, it pacifies into the ditch, and then it fills the ditch up, and then it will start to not humidify, what they call it?
Moisten?
Yeah, the hillside. And then it hydrates the hill, and then the hill becomes good planting matter.
So that's water that without the swale would have otherwise just run off the hill?
Yeah, just be run off straight in the drain. So now it collects in the swale, and then when the dirt that you pull out from the swale, the grass on top, we put that on top of all the mango tree stumps because we chopped out the inside of the mango tree so we could get more sun for more mangoes. And then we put some poo on top of that and all the other stuff, some straw, and then we grow a food forest. So it's the 4th swale in her garden. Every time I go up there, I dig another one. So now the hillside's slowly starting to become a food forest.
How deep is the swale and how wide is it?
It's about 2 feet deep. It's about 2 foot by 2 by 2.
Right. So it's a good, considerable sized trench.
Yeah.
And how long did it run for? Does it run for?
About 15 meters.
Okay.
Depending. Some are 10, some are 15. The first one took me a week to dig, and it was like the hillside it felt like I was digging through shale and rock. And then the second one was a little softer, took me about 3 days. Third one, a day, and this one took me like a morning. So it's just reflective.
Because you've gone each time one under.
One under, and each time I've gone, there's been more moisture in the hill.
The ground's softer.
Yeah, it's amazing. I can't believe how quickly it's happened. Yeah, and it's producing like coffee bean, any kind of vegetable you can imagine, like buckets of ginger, turmeric.
Where's her place
lemons, limes, up in Wurrunggeri, just behind surface.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's great.
Fair bit of rain happening
Queensland, yeah. Not really. Not a lot of rain at all.
Okay.
But the swale's collected anyway. So even if there's like dew, the dew will run. That gets collected. Yeah, it's pretty cool the way they work.
Does it? I'm trying to think of what it would look like. Does it look quite dramatic?
It looks awesome.
Yeah, right.
It's beautiful. Yeah.
But like if you look at the hill, you see kind of these holes cut in, like trenches cut in the side of it.
You'll see like lines in the hill that move around the contour of the hill. So each line is a different shape.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really pretty. It's like a natural patterns.
That's cool.
Yeah, that, and I harvested my first beehive. I've never harvested a beehive before. My mum was supposed to do it, but she'd left the hive for a little bit too long, and it was overflowing with honey. And I said, we need to get the honey out. So I put on a pair of old overalls, her overalls that were a bit too short for me. I put some gloves on to try and cover up around my wrists, and then I chucked a net on my head with a hat. I looked pretty stupid, but I fucking got in there and I did it.
Fuck.
Cracked the top, smoked them, and then like 1 or 2 bees came out, and I was like, oh, sweet. There's no bees in there. And then the whole box started vibrating, like, and then I kind of shit myself, and I was like, oh, what am I doing? I've never done this before. And I was like looking over at my mum, and she's like, yeah, keep going. So I smoked it, and I started pulling these racks of honey out. We ended up getting about 25 litres of honey from this harvest. Yeah, it was fucking amazing.
How long would they have been making that honey for?
Probably 6 months from the last harvest, and we were just in time because the hive beetle traps were full, and we had to empty them out and put new traps in, and so you get a nice healthy hive.
I tasted some. It was delicious.
It's good honey, yeah.
Delicious.
Good honey.
When are you bringing me some?
I'll bring some in.
Yeah.
Yeah. I said I was going to, didn't I?
You did.
Yeah, I got a big jar at home.
Yeah, it'd be good.
You did.
Well, my brother's a beekeeper as well, and he hasn't given me any honey. I'm like, bro, when am I getting some honey? So
I'll give you some honey.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Sounds like a good week off, and the fam was all up there.
It's good. Yeah, a lot of bushwalking, beach. Got on the skateboard. Yeah,
That's right.
You said you're doing all right on the
I'm
skateboard?
doing all right. I'm surviving. I've had one stack.
It's doing all right for a kook.
Fucking hurt. Yeah, I'm like kook dad. You know that kook dad that gets in the way?
Yeah.
I'm that guy. Yeah, it's great.
But you got that old deck.
Got my old
happening
deck.
now.
Mate,
Mum had it up there, huh?
Mum had it up there. My son was stoked when he found out I had a skateboard. I said to him that I'm too old to skateboard, and then when he found out I got a skateboard, he was like, "Dad, you got a skateboard? We can skate together." And then I promised myself I wouldn't be that dad that sits on the sidelines with my arms crossed while my kids go out and play. So everything else I've ever done with them, I've always played with them. Then the skateboards came out, and then I was like, I'm calling it a day. I'm going to end up being that dad. But my mum had my old Powell Peralta Tony Hawk in the garage.
Sick.
And my son fucking started frothing over it. So
It's very slick.
I pulled it out, yeah. And then I cleaned it up, buffed the the trucks and the change of bearings, and it was fucking
Was it
good
one
as
of
you.
one of the old like single kick boards?
Yeah.
Bit of a
Big
fish
fat
shape.
thing, yeah, fish shape at the front,
Yeah.
like the
Rails.
hawk skull on the bottom.
Yep.
Yeah, so I went down to the skate park, and this guy came up to me and said, "How much you want for that board?" Or that deck? And I was like, "No, I don't want to sell it." And he's like, "It's worth a lot of money, that." And I was like, "Oh, a lot of money." I'm like, "Oh, how much?" And he's like, $350. And I'm like, "Oh, it's not a fucking lot of money, bro. I won't even get a new one for that much money. I'm keeping it." So
Shouldn't
Hold
be
on.
riding that deck.
yeah, but he had
It's a lot of
tattoos
Happy
on
Meals,
him.
bro.
He had a fucking
350 bones.
He had a Bones Brigade tattoo on his calf, a fucking Power Peralta tattoo on his tummy, another one on his chest. And I was like, "Oh, die hard fan."
His name
But
wasn't Josh Pincus, was it?
Three people have asked me if I wanted to sell my deck. So,
Oh, wow.
25 years old. You know why? Because I didn't use it much when I was little. Just kind of walked around with it. So still in good nick.
Did its job.
Yeah.
It altered your status around the beaches
That's right,
back
bro.
then.
Yeah. Yeah, that was my holiday.
You found, I remember you saying you found skateboarding a little bit awkward at first.
Yeah.
Do you reckon, because I know like kicking a soccer ball is not something you've done a lot of either. Do you feel like there's a connection there and that getting better at
Yeah.
skateboarding might make you better at kicking a ball?
Nah. Kicking balls and throwing balls I've always been shit at.
Right.
I think mechanically I'm quite stiff, my style of anything. Like even whatever I do, I'm quite stiff. But I managed to do it. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean some things that it works for me and other things it just doesn't. The skateboarding, I feel like I'm finding my style and I'm just accepting the fact that I'm a little bit stiff. But I'm strong, so I can kind of deal with it that way.
Have you got a name for your style?
I'm not going to try any tricks. I'm just trying to fucking cruise,
Yeah.
stiffly.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe come up with something.
Fridge
You look like
style.
you got fucking look in your eye like you already had something before you asked me.
No, I'm not that sharp. Joe will come up with something
Esky
that'll rip you.
style.
Yeah.
I'll post something. I'm sure he'll comment. So
I don't need to comment, bro. I'm above
My
that.
eyes have done the commenting. It's good. I love that. I mean, I
I'm out
never
there.
want to be that dad either. That's on the sidelines. So it's hats off to it's
great for
it's a
balance.
tough one to jump on,
Wow.
later in life because it's just you and the concrete and you're
Yeah, it
falling.
is.
Man,
Concrete is fucking
fucks people
intimidating.
up big
And
time.
when you get out there and you're like, look at these kids just fucking doing some crazy stuff on these things, and you think, whoa, how the hell are they even doing that? And then you get out there and you get a little taste of it, and you're like, wow, this is awesome, and it's real freedom feeling. And then you kind of lose your focus for a second, and then it's just like, bang.
Yeah.
Hit the
Reality
deck,
hits
and
you
you're like,
hard.
fuck.
To
that
give everyone a
hurts.
background, Joe and I
Oh.
grew up skateboarding together. We used to skate a lot. Tease the non-skater, but
Non-skater.
awesome.
But now I'm skating. You guys aren't fucking skating.
I'm fucking
I
skating.
was skating.
You
Well,
can't
there-
even walk properly, bro.
There's you ain't got no legs.
You're on a scooter.
Well, there's
And
an
I'm still ripping
interesting
you.
paradigm. Is that like you're doing that thing? You'll give that a go, and then Paul, who is I believe you're quite gifted in how you can move. You know, skating. You're always
All right.
really good at that. But then he was playing with his kids on holidays, and
Yeah.
the fucking Achilles, bro.
That's right. I know.
It's harsh.
So
Reality's harsh.
our kids are in their first year at school, and this past holiday was the second school holidays that I've had with the kids, or we've had with the kids, and I injured myself twice, once on each holiday.
How
Just
old are
'cause
you
I'm
now?
out there, 35.
Oh, this is when it all begins, bro.
Well,
What was the injury last holiday?
first time, it was just a minor little tear of the calf. Like I didn't see anyone about it. It was just small, but I was doing
Same calf?
no, the other one.
Okay.
Fuck, I don't even remember. To tell you the truth. Yeah, we were camping. We were at this caravan park, and it had one of those big blisters, those bouncy blisters that inflate they're outdoor and they inflate like a jumping castle. They're outdoor, and all the kids are jumping on them. And I spent the week doing backflips and stuff with all the 12-year-old girls who were just ripping me. I was just asking them for tips, and anyway, I was flipping and kind of went off to the side and put my leg down, and it just kind of as I stabilized, just gave a little tear. But this time around, Ninja Warrior. So I was on holidays. Took my kid to a Ninja Warrior place out at Wetherill Park, Ninja 101. And I was supervising for the most part. And just he was there with all of his friends and stuff. And then the coaxing, the G'ing up to run up the warped wall started.
That's the big ramp?
Yeah, that's right. I ran up the reasonably tough one, the kind of second tier one, and it was pretty easy. But the big one there was hard, and that's where I did it. Running up there, trying to be super dad.
Fuck.
Yeah, I was like real cold and hadn't been doing shit, and just went, boom, just went, went for gold.
Oosh.
Yeah, went as I was.
That's brutal.
Exploding up it.
It's brutal because it could happen to anyone, and it does.
Yeah.
We've spoken a bit about Achilles injuries since then, right? And I've spoken to a couple people, and it's like, yeah, they just happen. There's no real reason. But it's brutal that you're like, fuck, I was playing on the course, I was doing the thing.
Playing young man's games.
Yeah,
bro.
that's right.
right.
Do you think that'll affect your mindset moving forward?
You mean like
I know I'll be targeting that leg next time we're sparring.
you mean in the same scenario, don't
Just
you?
kick the little leg.
Footlock.
Yeah. See the one that looks like a toothpick? Hit that. No, yeah, like, do you think you'll just have that little bit of fear? You know, like when you get drunk on
Apprehension.
Southern Comfort or something when you're a teenager and you never drink Southern Comfort again?
I don't know. I can't know until I get there.
Yeah.
But I feel like I'm of a certain personality that I will get to a point where I won't care about it. I won't be thinking about it very much because I'm pretty like throw myself in there and not think about consequences just generally. So I feel like once a few years passes, and obviously, leading up to using it again more dynamically and then in more kind of uncontrolled environments, I'm going to be conscious of it and aware and fucking not throw myself in. But I'll get to a point, I reckon, in a couple of years' time where I'll run up that wall again without thinking about it. I got a feeling I will.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, I don't know. Who knows? We should
film it just in case it happens.
We should always film it. Yeah. Yeah, I think so. It's just a feeling, but until then, it is definitely going to affect me in the short to mid-term for sure. Just not like it's not really a fear thing. It's just I'm considering it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I've got a fucking long way to go still. Foot's moving, it's alive, but I've still got a lot of fucking leg to build back at the moment. The calf's withered away to... Probably what most people
doors of a 69K.
Yeah, that's right.
We were looking at it yesterday, his leg at my place, and I was saying he just looks like a surfer now.
One surfer leg, propped up. It looks like most normal people's legs right now. So it'll be back. The quad doesn't seem to have much loss, but the calf.
Calf and hammy.
Hammy
looked like it was a little bit smaller than the other one.
Yeah, it's hard to see, I think, the hammy.
Feel it.
T does a little visual analysis of our muscle mass on a daily basis, just scanning for weak spots.
He was stepping all over it, like just digging into those rocks or squirming. So that was my holiday. That was my week off. I was up until then. It was a great week.
You bought yourself an extra few days, didn't you? Surgery and shit.
It was worth
Come on
it.
now, call it what it was.
6-week vacation.
Yeah.
What did you get up to, Joe?
So my holiday was off the back of you two. So Paul had the first week off, and then I think ended up extending out for another week, and then T had the second week off. So then I took mine. Mine was cool because it kicked off with the JB ski trip, which was a tribe organised trip to the snow down to Thredbo that shout out to our girl Olivia Jarkovsky organised.
Oh, well organised.
Yeah, really well
Thanks,
organised. It was a killer, like little big chalet, about 20 minutes out from Thredbo Ski Mountain.
Looked so good.
Yeah, it was
like
sick.
The spot.
It was sick. Had a sauna, had a spa, big kitchen.
It's like a giant log cabin.
It's exactly what it was.
Wow.
It kind of had everything you need for that sort of weekend. And so I think there was maybe 15 of us or something like that, or 14 of us. And so we were chilling.
All from the gym, mostly.
Mostly. Or at least all connected. A couple of the girls brought friends of theirs from elsewhere. But everyone got along real nice. Food was good. People were cooking, chipping in. It was really nice. It was a nice communal weekend, and the snow was sick. And nobody got really busted up, which was good because you kind of always feel like someone might get busted up.
Mate, we build them strong here, bro.
It's true.
You know?
It's true.
I wanted to ask you,
practical
'cause
application.
lots of people were like, oh, so-and-so was really good. Oh, shit. I want to know specifics. What were the type of maneuvers that like Marek was getting? What was the gnarly kind of...
Yeah, I'd say Marek was probably the most highly skilled of the group. Naturally, him and I spent a lot of time together on the mountain. He's just a bit of, I would say he's a bit of a hellman. So in terms of maneuvers, we played around a little bit in the terrain park, and he's got like box slides and rail slides he's quite comfortable with, and he has some nice little what's it like when you hit a rail slide, but you kick the back tail out. Like a tail slide, I guess.
Okay.
Backside tail slide?
Well, I don't know in snowboarding. Like he's still going down the middle of the board, or he's sliding on the tail?
No, he's more on the tail. Like not completely on the tail like you would on a skateboard.
It's under his foot binding or something.
Sort of deal, yeah.
Fuck, I don't know what that's called.
But so he had some of that, and then he had some good like little. We found like some mad little sort of cliff drops, like dropping off rocks and stuff.
So
and
he's just like ripping off them.
Yeah, he's pretty savvy on all that stuff.
Such an outdoorsman.
He is. Yeah, he fucking loves it. But you know, that was probably about as gnarly as it got. I think we were all pretty respectful of it because none of us have done it much recently. Like, so it's easy to kind of. Well, I found the same. It's easy to like feel really confident again, and like, oh, I can start ripping it up and hit this and whatever. And then you're like, nah, fuck, my legs are fatiguing and I'm losing concentration and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it was cool. Yeah, and we had all different levels. Some of the crew were like Haley and Adam. They were doing lessons. A couple of the other girls were doing lessons, and then a couple of us, we'd split up and sort of split into skill levels, I guess, just organically.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was fucking mad. And we spent 3 nights there, and then I came back. So I had the week off from there, and I was just kind of hanging out at home. But what I did do as I got back into a buddy of mine opened up his jiu-jitsu academy in Rose Bay. Shout out Adam from Alliance Jiu-Jitsu in Rose Bay. So I got back on the mats there and did a few sessions, which was sick because I haven't really had the time to go and train jiu-jitsu, outside of here. And I haven't done any training in the gi for a long time. And it was nice to just go and just get some dosage of that again and get my ass kicked and all that sort of thing. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I think it kind of sparked a little bit of a resurgence for me because I've been wanting to get back into it for a while, but just haven't found the right place where I want to do it.
Time's always tough as well, like making it work on your week to week.
Yeah, totally right. So yeah, maybe get a little bit of that going here at some point. We'll see. But then I was chilling for the week, and then I spent the next weekend up at my parents' place. My bro and my sis came up. My bro brought his little girl Ginger, and it was family time, kicking around, doing some handstands and shit, eating mum's home cooked food, some packets of biscuits, lots of coffee. Cold water swims, dragging my brother out into it was fucking chilly out there.
I would have loved that.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, he kind of loves it.
Yeah. It gets cold there, eh?
It does.
Like the water temperature gets cold there.
Yeah, really cold. And I guess it
doesn't
doesn't
deal
move
with
that
cold,
much.
the cold water thing. Like, what is there? Because I know I know it feels good because I've been doing the cold shower thing now for about a year.
Have you?
Every morning, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, for a year, and I feel like I can't go without it now. But it's more to wake me up, and then I feel like it's like a good kickstart to the day. Are there any health benefits to getting yourself into cold water? Or what's the deal with the ice baths and all that, or is it just like a bit of a bro science?
I believe there is some real science behind it, which is like there's the anecdotal stuff, which is like, yeah, you feel good and it kind of gets you going and whatever. But I believe, and I think Rhonda Patrick, who's often on Joe Rogan podcast, she talks about it a lot. But it's the same for extreme cold exposure as it is, I believe, for extreme heat exposure, like saunas and that kind of thing. But
I've been doing hot showers every morning for like a year now.
I'm feeling great.
Yeah, I'm feeling great. I'm 35 years now. Yeah, go ahead.
I believe it's what do they call it? It's an epigenetic thing. So if you do something like that consistently over a long enough time period, it will have an effect on your DNA, and it will have an effect on how your DNA is expressed. So within our DNA, we have all of these different possibilities, markers, variables. Some of them express and some of them don't express. So say like because of your bloodline and because of your family's lineage, you might have an expression for let's say being able to deal with sun exposure really well. People spending a lot of time in the sun, but for whatever reason you're not expressing that genetic marker or that gene. So you have the potential for it, but it's not actually happening for you in your life. But you might pass it on, your child might have it, and they might be able to utilize it. The idea is that the exposure to those extremes will switch those things on or off. So, the bro sciencey part of it, I think, is that like a lot of the studies and stuff that I've read in books that deal with, like say, Bill Bryson talks about it, or Jared Diamond in like The Third Chimpanzee and stuff like that. But it basically, when they look back over societies that have lived or cultures that have lived through extreme harsh periods, their children are usually born with a much stronger makeup. So they're more resistant to disease, they're more physically robust, et cetera, et cetera. Whereas for people who have been born in times of abundance, so really, nice weather conditions, lots of food, a relatively easy path, their children are born somewhat softer. That's kind of the takeaway from it. So I think it's like that exposure just kind of allows you to toughen the system in a way, to sum it. But yeah, it's a big science. Like every time I listen to, I think I've mentioned Rhonda Patrick before, but when I listen to her on a podcast, it's like really engaging, and then she just gets a little bit deeper, and then I'm like lost. And then I usually fucking put some hip hop on or something.
How does that sound to you, T?
Yeah.
Keep it
sounds
going
good.
for another year?
Yeah.
You can keep it.
Paul, you haven't done cold showers?
I did
Coconut, bro.
for a summer.
Do like
I did when I was back. So it was
True,
when I was living in Marrickville. I did it through summer, and I was like, okay, this is it. I'm going to try and push it through. I probably passed into a month of autumn, and then something went down. I was like, I need a hot shower. No, not beyond that.
Just coconut, bro.
I agree. It makes you feel great. Like it feels really nice. But I also experienced that feeling in a hot shower too.
Feeling
It's
good.
like I feel good. I come out of a shower. It's lovely. Bit of soap.
That's true. It's hard to, yeah, that's right. It's an individual thing, right?
Mm.
I like it. You know what I like about it?
Important.
It's fucking uncomfortable the moment before.
Yeah.
Every morning you get to the shower and you're like, I always usually find some part of myself to scratch. I'm like standing there about to jump in the shower, and then I'm like, oh, my shoulder's itchy. And I'll stand there for like 30 seconds. I'll be like, my shoulder's not fucking itchy. I'm just procrastinating. And then I'll jump in and I'll turn the shower, and then I'll like look at it for a few seconds and be like, so when am I going to jump in? Like I'm buying time the whole time.
Yeah.
And then you just get in and it's fine.
Feeling.
I just walk straight to it.
Do you?
Yeah.
Just go in.
And I stand underneath it and turn it on.
Oh,
And then I have like a little mini heart attack. And then all these like negative thoughts come into my head. And then they all get pushed out. And then I feel like I've been exercised.
oh.
Yeah, I come out and I feel
Far
great. Yeah, it's like a full-on detox, like a mind detox.
How long do you reckon you're in there for?
Probably about a minute.
Yep.
I can't do longer than that. After a minute, I'm getting like agitated.
Hypothermic.
Yeah, I feel like I don't need to be anymore. Job's done.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, it's good. It's a good start to the day.
I used to have to do my arms first, do my legs first, then move to the trunk. Just splashing it with water, and then get the face and then the top of the head, and the final straw was like rolling down the back of the neck. And that was when the heart just goes, and you're like, oh, control your breath.
Oh, that's so that's so segmented. There's too much anxiety in that for me.
That's pain. That's prolonging the pain.
Yeah.
It's like peeling a Band-Aid off real slow.
Yeah, no.
I've been experimenting with my kids. So I shower them, and then at the end of the shower, I was using it to get them out of the shower, turn the shower on cold because they wouldn't get out. So even when I turned it off, they're still sitting in there. So I just turned the shower on to cold, and then they'd jump out of the shower. But now I'm doing it, and I turned the cold on, and it was my son actually who decided he wanted to be
Tough.
didn't want to get out.
Yeah.
Then he turned the cold on, and then he stayed in there, and he was like standing to the side, and then he was like, my daughter was out watching him, and then he stood under the shower, and then I kind of counted for him, and now it's become this thing, and then she saw him do it, now she's doing it, and they're doing like, they've gotten up to, I think my son got up to about a minute, just standing under the cold shower after hot one.
cold.
Out.
Yeah, and then my wife found out, and she lost it. She's like, why are you putting them in a cold shower? It's midwinter. They're just about to go to bed. They'll get the flu. That was kind of the end of that, but supposedly it builds a stronger immune system.
No one actually
Bro science.
catches a cold or catches a flu from being cold,
that's
right?
No. But exposure to cold in doses is supposed to build your immune system.
Strengthens the immune system.
I don't know if that's bro science or not.
No, I think that would. I mean, that would kind of tie in with this epigenetic thing, right?
Exposure, I think, is good. Any kind of like exposure in doses, in tolerable doses. This is how the body adapts and evolves. Well, it's also how the body or how your mind gains more experience, and then you become a more intelligent human. So it's important to have all these things, these little doses of exposure to different environments.
Yeah.
Whether it's social or natural, to get out there and just keep exposing yourself.
What? Something just came to mind. Mick Leslie. Is it Mick Leslie the Grip?
Yeah.
Do you know about his house that they built up on the northern beaches? Because
No.
you were really good friends with him, weren't you?
Oh, yep. Yeah. I think he built that after we stopped. We kind of...
Okay. Oh, maybe it's a bit of a dead-end memory, but he built this house, and his wife got an architect to build this house. It was like an award-winning architect. But they had designed it in such a way. I haven't been there, but lots of people have been there, so it's a beautiful house. But he designed it in such a way where in the house he can feel the weather outside. And because he's a rock climber and a surfer, and he's a big water sports type guy. And I know he's always in the water, and that was one of the things I thought you might know about it.
We used to climb together.
Idea of seeing the weather outside and just being housed from it 24/7 inside your house. A friend was telling me he's designed it in such a way. I don't know how they do it.
Affects
so the temperature changes inside
Awesome.
when the temperature changes outside. Probably not to the same extreme, but it'd be pretty cool.
Sounds like the house I used to grow up in.
Just thin walls. Yeah, me too.
Fibro.
The shack.
Oh my god! Yeah,
I got stuck on the side of a mountain with him
Just a
once.
shed.
Like I went into nighttime up in the Blue Mountains during winter. It was fucking really scary.
Really?
Yeah. On a 2-pitch climb, and our rope got tangled, and I was in ball shorts and t-shirt.
That's right.
And the weather changed. No torch, nothing.
telling
It was
me.
fucked. But I'll save that for another day.
Got out.
Yeah,
Got out. Obviously alive.
Hypothermic, but alive. But it was scary. Yeah, it was pretty scary. I like exposure to the elements. If you're not, got to be careful.
Yeah, I'm a little bit fearful of that. Just when I think about outdoor rock climbing, it's like, oh shit, yeah. I remember as a kid going out on a family trip, doing some abseiling and stuff, and the weather just turned, and it turned into a fucking debacle.
Yeah, it's pretty scary.
Yeah, it'd be gnarly. Especially when it's just a couple of you out somewhere. Maybe people don't really know where you are.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's always the case.
Mick's a
Kind of
cool
like
cat.
go out for a day climb.
Mm.
It's like those shows you see, on TV.
Naked and afraid.
I shouldn't be here. And they go out and for a bushwalk, get lost fucking 3 weeks, something like that.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. And they got nothing. There's a bit of that.
Tell us about your Garden Blitz, bro.
Yeah.
Your latest project. Perhaps the one of your proudest moments.
Oh, well, we had a Garden Blitz at our gym. We have it's a car park in the front of our gym. It's probably about what do you reckon, 200 meters squared all up with the garden and the verge and everything else.
Nah, bro.
To the verge.
Oh, yeah.
To the verge. Yeah, garden's going all the way out to the road.
Maybe
Well, like to the, you
And
mean
all the way out there.
to the gutter?
Yeah.
maybe 100.
Maybe 100?
150.
No, bro. Remember we were telling people the gym's like an acre.
350. At least.
No, it's an awesome project.
So yeah. Anyway,
I'm loving it.
we've been converting this fucking piece of slab of concrete into a permaculture paradise. So permaculture is a philosophy of working with rather than against nature. So it's looking at biodiversity over monoculturalism, and the rules of permaculture are something that are not just restricted to growing plants. It's also a society thing. So looking for things that are missing in your ecosystem and putting them in there to make things run a little better, intervening where something is necessary, needs intervening, but then also allowing your environment to produce a surplus of the stuff that you like, that you want, and to keep things under control that you don't, you know?
Cool.
So the gym kind of runs like that anyway, but I think there's 12 principles of permaculture. One is to observe and interact. These were all put together by a guy called Bill Molson and another fellow, I've forgotten his name, but they came up with this system of producing produce. So observe and interact. So just watching the way your environment works, and we do a lot of that in the gym anyway. When it comes to member interaction and people moving around the gym, we're doing the same with our garden. So the outer layer of our garden, the outer ring, is all native, and it's a biodiverse ring of native trees and plants that will attract certain bugs and insects and birds, and those birds will tend to the garden. So any of the stuff that we decide to grow, they'll pick away at the bugs and eat all the aphids and all that kind of shit and get rid of the mozzies and stuff. Yeah? So most birds that are pollinators generally eat bugs as well. So it's good for us. Also, it's on a psychological health level, on a mental health level, having interaction with nature, especially when it's like nature that's supposed to be in that area, is very healthy too. So bringing this bird life and different kinds of native animals into the garden is really positive, has positive attributes to our mental health. To catch and store energy, so we're plugging into next door's, what do you call it, the water tank. They don't know we're going to do it, but we do it anyway. Yeah, we haven't told them. But there's this big water tank next door, and it's like just fucking overflows. And I'm like, oh man, we could tap into that. So we're going to do like the gorilla mission and just plug into it. Suck the water out of that sucker.
To water our garden?
Yeah. So rainwater's the best kind of water for watering any kind of garden or crop. And then second after that,
we're going to cut a hole in the side of it and just tap in there?
Pretty much. It's like what Iraq did. It's like what Iraq did for Iran. Was it
if
Iraq?
there's any lawyers out there, please get in touch.
Fucking remember when Iraq drilled into Iran's oil well? It's a bit like that.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Well, that kicked shit off. Imagine how it's going to work out for us.
Man, it does overflow. It overflows a lot.
Fucking water just pouring down the drain.
It's true.
It's a resource. Apply self-regulation and accept feedback. So this is, again, applying some kind of system and then waiting to see what happens. We do it every day with our training. We apply a certain program and we review it later. It's the same in any other process. It's very important that you do this with your observational skills to make sure that whatever system you put in place, let it run for a bit and then observe, take notes, make changes. Well, producing no waste. We recycled everything that came out of the garden, mulched it, put it back in. Some of the stuff we couldn't take because it was a bit too toxic. Coming out of botany, we had to get rid of a big pine tree. It was a pine tree, which we probably should have told council about, but we took it down anyway on a Friday night, which was kind of scary.
Never would have happened
Straight
if we
across
did.
the fucking road and Anyway, it's not
taking
good to cut
years.
trees down, but this thing has no life in it. It shouldn't be in here. It was a conifer, so it had to go. And it's allowed space for all these other beautiful plants to grow.
Why? What's wrong with the conifer?
It's got pine needles, so it's too acidic for the soil. So they're designed to they spread pine around them. They acidify the soil, and nothing else can grow except them. So it's a way for them to secure
Stay dominant.
Yeah, their position on the planet.
Are they? And they're not native.
No,
Where are they from? Do you know?
I would say it'd be an American kind of thing.
Right.
We always see them in the movies. You know?
Yeah. North America type
Yeah, it's
vibe.
kind of like a guess.
Yeah.
A random guess, but yeah, they're not a native Australian bush of any kind. Integrate rather than segregate. So integrating with
Just kidding, guys.
with your environment. I think the main thing is to look. When we looked at the plans, it's like, okay, we've got this corridor that runs in and out of the gym, and then to the side there's this empty car space. And it's like, okay, how can we use that space to allow members to kind of pool in that area, enjoy it, so and then integrate it instead of building like barriers and cautioning things off.
Yeah.
So we have our training area, which flows outside, and we've put bars up so people can train around the gardens. We've got areas for people to stretch there. Then we've got benches for people to be able to sit down and enjoy a bit of sun, do some meditation next to the aquaponics setup or the ponds that we're gonna put in, and also have some kind of half container which has a cafe in it, and that's going to have like nutrition advice and
Covered in plants too, huh?
yeah, and that'll be all whole foods that seasonal, and whatever's getting served on the day is what you get, kind of thing. So it'd be more home cooked
Stuff
style.
from the garden.
Yeah, so it gives people more connection with where their food comes from. They can see what's in season. When they go shopping, they can make a more informed decision. They're not buying something that's shipped in from Turkey or whatever, sat on a boat for the last 6 months. And also they can taste the difference between an heirloom variety of fruit and veg that is grown for the taste and not for the fact that it's got a longer shelf life, or it's not going to get squashed when it's pushed in a box, or it looks pretty, which are very different things. And then it also gives us a topic of conversation, which is very important, and that's nutrition. And it's something that we feel very strongly about. And it's one of many things that builds a healthy body. The other thing that a garden like this does, and I'll go back to the mental health side of things, is it builds relationships. So you come into the gym and you have a place. You can talk in class, kind of, but not really, you know. But then you don't have anywhere to congregate at the moment, or we don't. But when we have this space, it gives a place for people to be able to go and have relationships with each other, healthy relationships with each other, relationships with a little bit of relationship with nature, a strong relationship with their food, positive relationships, and then also that has overflowing effects to give these people positive relationship with themselves as well. And I think if you do not have strong relationships, if your relationships are negative, it doesn't matter what they're with. And I've said this to Al the other day, if you have, you could be the fittest, strongest, fastest, most finely tuned machine, and if you have a shit relationship with your colleagues at work, a shitty relationship with your family, a shitty relationship with your nutrition, a shitty relationship with nature, shitty relationship with yourself, you are not going to be a healthy individual, you know? So to be able to have that environment that allows people to come together and integrate and share that relationship is very important. So that's pretty much what the garden represents. But the main thing and the strongest point that I think I'd like to make is that it brought everyone together to build it. We didn't spend any money. We got people to bring in whatever leftover junk they had in their garden, quality stuff, so hardwoods and concrete basins and bricks and
soil.
I can't even, there's a big list of just quality stuff. Just kept coming through the door, and stuff that was probably either going to sit there and rot or just never going to get used, or it would end up in the tip. And we gave it all a new life, and it looks really classy out there. I was really worried it was going to look like everyone just come and dump their junk in a front. It looked like a fucking junkyard, but it hasn't turned into that at all. Yeah. I mean, we had a landscape architect. These are all members and PT clients, but friends. interior designer, a set designer and painter, landscapers, like builders. The list goes on and on. Cooks, chefs, and it was awesome.
So the Garden Blitz was a 2-day blitz, basically, that he'd been putting together for some time. Yeah, and it all started... Well, actually, it started... Why I love this whole thing, like, kicking off, because when we first started the Jungle Brothers, it was always a part of the plan. And we started in 2012, and it was always part of it. And, like, to think that it's now started... I mean, you make it sound like a bit of a Garden of Eden right now, but it's still like a bit of a car park. Like it's all prepped and it's the blank canvas now, and it's going to grow into all of this stuff. But just to see where it's at now and be actually, it physically kind of taking place right now it's so exciting. Like for all the reasons that you've just spoken about, like I'm stoked. So it was a Garden Blitz. It started with Aiden and you making designs. He's a landscape architect, and then kind of consulting on the professionals. There was Di, who's is she an interior designer? She's a
interior designer. Yeah.
And then it kind of went from there.
Textiles and stuff like that. And Anna was there was so many skilled like technicians on the day. It was unreal.
2 days. Started early on a Saturday. Had people dropping stuff off during the week. You got rid of the tree earlier in the week.
Then we put the bonfire on and sang heaps of piss that Saturday night. That was awesome.
It was great. A lot of the kindling was burnt to ash. There was a whole barrel of ash which went into the garden as well.
Yeah, it goes in there.
But it was the first big day, and there was just people everywhere, just lending a hand.
Yeah, it was, and I think that when everybody comes together. And this is the closest I get to religion because I'm not religious, but I think religion to me is when you believe in something greater than yourself, and then you come together and you share that belief. And in our case, the religion is Jungle Brothers Strength and Movement.
Hey.
Get converted, be baptized.
Come on, all are welcome.
Join us or be our enemy.
So everyone came together off their own free will. No one's getting paid. No one, and everyone contributed. They bought food, or they just bought a shovel,
or tools,
or they just bought their happy vibes and some music, whatever it was.
I thought it was going to be chaos actually, but it wasn't. It was like in parts, but it was like all good. It was all good. It was on track, and then day 2, I thought, well, you had a massive kind of hangover, and so did a couple of the guys. But it was like I just thought that the numbers would be lower day 2.
Oh yeah,
it was like a whole new shift,
fresh batch
who couldn't come on Saturday,
legends,
plus a bunch of legends who did double shifts.
Yeah, then they were double shifted. That was unbelievable.
I was following the whole thing from afar because I was up at my parents' place, and I saw Alex Gardner posted this awesome photo on Instagram of like making some homemade croissants. And I commented delicious. And I was like, fuck, those croissants look unreal. And she said, yeah, I'm making them for the Garden Blitz. I was like, Jesus Christ. You got people make fucking hand-making croissants?
That was so good.
Oh, yeah.
I was heating them up for individuals on the barbecue. So I had the lid and the little grill thing. And we just had butter, and it was mad. Yeah,
there was a lot of homemade treats.
Yeah,
it was nice.
Yeah, it was really, really nice. I think we've had some awesome events here, great parties, but that was definitely by far my favourite. Yeah, I've never seen anything like it. It was really, really... I felt quite emotional after the second day.
I couldn't tell.
You've been coming down ever since.
So 2 weeks' time, we'll have a planting day from now.
Why 2 weeks? It looks very ready.
Start of spring. And we have to get the seedlings in. So we'll have watermelon and corn and sunflowers and all kinds of cool stuff.
So we're going to get the egg crate drive going.
Yeah.
We should put a basket downstairs with a little sign.
Put your egg crates,
So, and you can see them
egg crates
accumulating.
for the seedlings?
Yeah,
egg crates to plant the seedlings, yeah.
Everyone just bring them in.
You just kind of tear it off and plug it straight in like that.
Marco eats about like fucking 12 a morning. So you bring them in. I'm just frying up 12 eggs, bro.
Ew.
Yeah.
Yeah, bring them in. We use them.
How many seedlings do you reckon you're gonna make?
Well,
And how long?
quite a lot.
Take
quite
a few
lot.
weeks to make a seedling.
Yeah, a couple of weeks before we. And the good thing about the egg crate is that you don't have to transfer it. You just tear it off and stick it in. And
The whole thing just breaks down.
It breaks down by the time the plant just pushes through it. You know?
So the risk of damaging the seedling is minimal.
Yeah, you can plant them a little earlier.
That's cool.
Yeah, so we'll put them into over the weekend, and then in 2 weeks' time, just to celebrate the start of spring, we'll get everyone over and we'll finish a mural and do a bit more artwork, and it'll be less labour intensive and just more of a chill out day.
Yeah.
Maybe get one or two of them. There's some pretty avid gardeners, so get two of the members to give us a little 30-minute workshop on pruning and shit like that.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, it'd be fun. I'm quite amazed at how many people are interested in the whole project. Like people that have had no experience with, producing their own food, and now people are talking about, oh shit, I want to start something on my balcony, and hey, I can do something in my backyard. So I think it's spreading a good message.
It's going to be cool. That little community garden.
Yeah,
a little, people will be congregating around it, and all that conversation's going to happen. And it will.
It's going to be a nice place to be. It's
Yeah,
going to be hard to get people into the class. You'll
be fucking around in the garden. Get out of the sunflowers. Hey, that's one watermelon. It's not for you.
Yeah.
It'll probably be me. I'd have nothing to do with the garden, and I'll be harvesting the first watermelon.
Yeah, so that's kind of it.
Oh, well done to everyone in the tribe.
Yeah.
Yeah, big love to everyone that contributed.
Big love and T,
Congrats.
green thumb up T.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen you talk about anything as passionately as you do the garden.
Mm. Yeah, I know. Well, it was the gym, but that's kind of almost finished now. Well, it's never finished.
It's never finished.
Never finished. Never.
It just goes into a lull until the next project.
Which is coming up soon.
It's kind of it's kind of like like when there's like when you're watching a film like Jaws or something, and there's like this spate of attacks and this intensity and shit, and then it's like Jaws comes and terrorizes for a couple of weeks and then just dives back down under the surface, and you think everything's okay for like a few months, and then before you know it, motherfucker's back tearing people in half.
And that's T.
Yeah,
Jaws.
Yeah.
Jaws, skater dad.
So on that, like in closing up, so we had the injury for you, we had the a lot of permaculture for you, and a lot of like the community thing and that kind of vibe. What are the takeaways for the people of our experiences over the last month?
Get exposed, get out there and feel the elements, and reconnect with a little bit of nature, and then ask yourself how strong your relationships are with the things that matter in your life. Where are you spending your time? And then when you're in that time, are you present? Are you giving? Are you showing a bit of gratitude for, good things that surround you?
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I guess for me, my narrative was very much led by the injury. First major injury. Heard a lot of stories in between when it happened and now. You can't do anything about it. There's no point getting too down about it. You take it as an opportunity to learn from it. Had my head in the books on YouTube, just learning about it and trying to take as much as I can from it. Coming back stronger. And that's what it's come down to. It's just chatting to that fella, Matt, who's a guy's recently been training. He's had more than 9 major injuries. I think it was 8 or something. Yeah, he says it's true. It just makes you hungrier. It's cool. And it also kind of, it helps you focus a little bit at the things on the things that you want most. So I've been thinking about that a lot. I'm a guy who does look at play around with lots of different things in my life, and it's like, well, shit, I've only got this limited amount of energy and time right now, and I can't do this. So it's like, it's a good lesson. And yeah, also, there's something that you can do in terms of your training, and it's something that we always bang about here, especially you, Joe and T. It's, my ankle's gone, but the rest of the 95% of my body isn't. And I've taken it as a good opportunity to work on other things.
Getting jacked,
upstream.
upper body jacked.
Yeah,
Jacked.
surfer jacked.
Surfer jacked. Yeah. So come Stereosonic, I'll be
Yeah.
appropriately wedged
Shredded.
out.
Shredded.
Yeah.
Some baggy ass jeans.
Yeah.
Wedge.
So yeah, it's not that bad.
Keppers.
Keppers.
Remember them?
Yeah, the mustard ones.
Yeah, mustard keppers.
Side pockets.
Yeah. Oh, you give us your shoes, lad. Yeah, I like that. I think takeaway for me over this time was kind of tying in with what you guys were doing in your holidays, but to be physical during your time off. I know like a lot of people really have training as something that they do when they're working, and it's part of their sort of routine, and then they kind of this thing that's like often people ask me, oh, what did you do while you were on holidays? And I'm like, oh, I did this and this, and then I was doing some training, and they'd be like, oh, why are you training when you're on holidays? Can't you just take a rest or whatever? And it's like, well, actually enjoy it. But more importantly, if I have less on my plate, like I've got time off, it's
nicer.
Yeah, and it's actually not, like it's nice to have a couple of days where you do nothing sometimes, you know? But it's actually nice to like, you know, you're eating like the rich foods, you're hanging out, you're drinking more coffees, you're probably having a bit more alcohol, you're eating more meals.
Lying around more.
Yeah, it's nice to feel like you want that stuff, right? So you go out and do a bit of training, or you go and dig a swale, or you go and fucking, you know, take your boy out and run around all day. You kind of earn it in a way, and I think that just really makes you value it. And for me, it was like getting back into the jits. And then even when I was hanging out with my fam, doing the swimming and playing around with some handstands and that kind of stuff, I think it's nice to earn the day.
Yeah, you must
when you got time
always
off.
earn. Must always train. Can't stop.
Damn right.
Whether formally or
You
otherwise.
can turn the volume down a little or up or whatever, but you can't turn it off.
Yeah,
You know, it's not worth it.
yeah. And
Feel
it's
like
and
shit.
if you look at it as a positive thing, not something that's a punishment, then it's like, well, why would you not do it?
Yeah.
Whereas if you do look at it as a punishment, I can see the inclination to think, well, I'm not going to do that.
You're doing the wrong training,
Yeah.
really.
Or you're approaching it the wrong way.
That's right. It's that whole context podcast that we did.
Mm.
Yeah, you got to kind of think about what you're doing. Yeah, I love it on the holidays more than I do any other time because I have more time. There's less time pressure,
Yeah, you can chill.
and that was I had a few things written down for me to do on my 1 week off because it was a Sydney holiday and there was a danger of fucking just getting caught up in Sydney. And it was one, train every day, like move every day, and I was keeping up to that until the Achilles went. But yeah, it was that, and because I enjoy it, you know, you do it in your own time. You feel like you're not hustling, so you're kind of more present in a way.
Yeah.
The other thing was, get into nature, which was great. Went a couple of bushwalks before Kablooey. Yeah, mad.
Nice one, boys. Good to get back on the P-cast.
Yeah, it was. It's fun. We've got this new little spot in the corner here. We're going to dress it up a little bit, trying out videoing this. So
We're going to transcript it up, chuck it on our website,
Yep.
and we're going to chuck the video on YouTube. Boosh.
You can watch
And
us
we're going
stand
to
here.
dress this little studio area. Make it look slick.
Awesome.
Mad.
Okay. Thank you, everyone, for listening.
Thanks, boys.
Thank you.
Jungle Brothers, we're hit us up at junglebrothers.com if you want any help with your training or you want some advice or mobility work, nutrition, strength, whatever it is. We're always open to talk with new people. We're down at Botany. If you like the podcast, please feel free to share it with a friend. We'd like you to spread the word. You can even leave us a sick review on whichever podcast app you're using. But thanks, fam. We'll see you guys next time.
All right.
Bye.
See you.